Well, let's turn our attention to Russia now, where today the country's parliament will have a first reading on a bill considering the suspension of the INF treaty. Signed in 1987, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty required the United States and the former Soviet Union to eliminate all of their nuclear and conventional ground-launched ballistic and cruise missiles, with ranges of 500 to 5,500 kilometers. US allies in Europe are debating whether Russia's alleged violations to the agreement would warrant a countermeasure, such as the deployment of an equivalent American missile system in Europe. By way of example, that means that missiles launched from the center of Europe could reach as far as the eastern coast of North America or deep into Russia. Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined now by Ian Lesser, who's the Vice President of the German Marshall Fund think tank. Well, thanks for taking time to speak to us here on Good Morning Europe. If Russia does pull out of this treaty, what could be the consequences for Europe?
Well, I think it will just reinforce a concern that exists in many places in Europe that the nuclear element is coming back into European security. And of course, that's happening at a time when the relationship with Russia shows no signs of getting any calmer. And this is something that's a tough debate in NATO. There are countries like Poland and the Baltic states that feel this threat very keenly. But even for others, in Germany, for example, or in France or Italy, I think many people felt that this sort of nuclear element is something that goes back to the Cold War and had been eliminated from the European scene. And of course, it's coming back in many ways. So I think that's the underlying anxiety.
Well, as you pointed out there, the relationship between the USA and Moscow has been extremely strained in recent times. So do you think we are effectively seeing the re-emergence of a Cold War now?
Well, I'm not sure I would go quite as far as that, but I would say that many aspects that we had not had to think about for many, many years that have to do with arms control and the role of nuclear weapons in strategy generally are coming back in ways that are going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. I mean, the truth is that many of these arms control agreements, as you say, they date to the 1980s, even before that, haven't been revisited in many, many years. And a lot has happened in that time. China has developed a substantial nuclear arsenal. There are new nuclear weapon states. So I think actually both Russia and the United States and Europe share the concern of how you update these treaties without losing them. And I think that's the key challenge that we face now.